9 skilled hikers vanished, leaving behind a cut tent and a trail of baffling clues. It was February 1959, in the desolate, snow-choked Ural Mountains. A group of 9 experienced ski hikers, led by Igor Dyatlov, embarked on an ambitious expedition. They were young, full of life, and eager to conquer the slopes of Arorton Mountain. No one could have imagined the chilling fate that awaited them or the enduring mystery they would leave behind. Their journey began with high spirits, well documented in journals and photographs. But on February 1st, after a slight detour to a slope known as Karlet Dead Mountain by the local Mansi people, something went catastrophically wrong. What happened that night has puzzled investigators and theorists for over 6 decades. The alarm was raised weeks later when the group failed to send a telegram from Vijay, their planned return point. A search party was quickly assembled, including students and military personnel, bracing for the harsh conditions of the subarctic winter. On February 26th, the searchers found their abandoned tent partially collapsed and covered in snow. What they saw inside and around it immediately defied explanation. The tent had been cut open from the inside as if in a desperate, hurried escape. Even more unsettling, personal belongings, food, warm clothes, even their boots were left behind. It was as if the hikers had fled into the freezing night, ill-equipped for survival, driven by an unseen terror. The temperature that night was estimated to be around -25 to -30 degrees Celsius. Following a trail of 9 sets of footprints, some bare or in socks, the search party descended toward a nearby forest. About 1.5 kilometers from the tent, beneath a large cedar tree, they made their first tragic discovery. The bodies of Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Dorshenko were found, dressed only in their underwear, near the remains of a small fire. The tree itself bore strange marks. Branches were broken up to 5 meters high, suggesting someone had climbed it, perhaps to look for something or someone in the distance. The scene painted a picture of panic, confusion, and a desperate struggle against the elements. 3 more bodies were found between the cedar tree and the tent: Dyatlov, Zina Kalmogorova, and Rustam Slobodin. Their postures suggested they were attempting to return to the tent, collapsing along the way. Dyatlov was found face down, clinging to a tree branch, as if trying to pull himself up. The initial autopsies revealed hypothermia as the cause of death for these 5. However, there were some peculiar observations. Slobodin had a fractured skull, though it wasn't considered fatal. The lack of struggle marks on the bodies was also odd, given their desperate flight. It took 2 more months to find the remaining 4 hikers. They were discovered in a deep ravine, buried under 4 meters of snow, about 75 meters from the cedar tree. This discovery would deepen the mystery, not solve it. Lyudmila Dubinina, Semyon Zolotaryov, Alexander Kolvatov, and Nikolai Thiborsk-Brignoles presented a far more gruesome picture. Thiborsk-Brignoles had a severe skull fracture. Dubinina and Zolotaryov had horrific chest injuries, described as blunt force trauma comparable to a car crash. Even more unsettling, Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her lip, and Zolotaryov was missing his eyeballs. The injuries were perplexing: severe internal damage without external wounds, suggesting an immense pressure or force. Adding to the bizarreness, some of their clothing contained elevated levels of radiation. This detail, though later explained as likely contamination from their work, fueled early theories of secret military experiments or even extraterrestrial involvement. The official Soviet investigation concluded simply that the hikers died from a compelling natural force. This vague explanation, coupled with the rapid closure of the case and the classification of certain files, only deepened public suspicion and fueled countless theories. Over the decades, theories have ranged from avalanches and infrasound to military tests and encounters with the elusive Yeti. The lack of any convincing, singular explanation has allowed the incident to persist as one of history's most compelling unsolved mysteries. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the investigation, concluding in 2020 that a rare type of slab avalanche, combined with poor visibility, forced the hikers to cut their tent and flee. They argued the injuries were consistent with falling into the ravine after fleeing the avalanche. However, this theory still struggles to explain certain details. The lack of typical avalanche evidence, the extensive search for days without finding the bodies in the ravine, and the precise nature of some of the injuries. The missing eyes and tongue, in particular, remain highly contested. What truly happened on that desolate slope of Karlat or Dead Mountain, may never be fully known. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a chilling testament to the power of the unknown, and a somber reminder of 9 young lives lost to an inexplicable horror in the heart of winter. What other chilling cold cases continue to baffle investigators worldwide?